And game one, Rattlesnake stole one from Rising Stars, who led the match for half an hour across a total of 61 minutes. Coming back, though, Rising Stars on the back of a standout performance from CTY on a hero that we see first pick now on that clockwork. They managed to knot the series up. Now we move ahead. Game 3 of our best of 3, second time tonight. A series goes the distance. Can't wait to see the conclusion. I'm your host here in AC Chambers, joined live by Merlini for the insight and analysis. Lot on the line for both of these teams here in this Game 3. Both teams sitting in the bottom of the standings right now, sitting at 0-3, looking for that initial win. One team will walk out with a chance to make a run, to try to use the momentum they'll take from this series to get themselves back into playoff contention. The other, falling to 0-4, will have to win out to have any realistic hope of actually seeing postseason play. So in terms of what this actually means relative to teams themselves and how valuable it is and how important a game it is, might be the most important game so far played in the Eastern Division of the D2L Season 4, brought to you by Kingston HyperX. Once again, I'm AC, joined by Merlini. I'll tell you what, man, it's been an interesting night. We had a lot of 2-0 walkovers and a lot of 2-0 stomps, if we're honest, in the preceding weeks up till tonight. But now our second series goes all the way, and these two teams with two very similar play styles, what's becoming very evident is the standout players have to make plays. We saw Sag play absolutely out of his mind, but even that wasn't enough to overcome just how good CTY was on Clockwork in Game 2.
Yeah, CTY, just huge. I'm just astounded at how well he played compared to Game 1. Just completely picked it up. And I don't know what made him play like that, but I think they need another game out of him like that if Rising Stars wants to win this series. Still, very tight game. I think that Rising Stars had the lead like a fair amount of the game in Game 1, even though they lost. And I think that Rattlesnake had a fair lead in a good amount of the game in Game 2 when Rising Stars won. So none of these have been very convincing victories. It's like very shaky leads and just like small mistakes here and there, or just really good plays here and there, giving the team an upper advantage. And this has really come down to skill. I don't really think it has much to do with the draft. Both of these teams very even on the draft. Looking at this right now, we see Rattlesnake going for a very safe anti-mage pick, but anti-mage is a lot easier to kill than Medusa, I think, especially in like the 10 to 25 minute phase of the game before he gets like absolutely huge. But anti-mage is also a lot faster farmer too. If you leave him alone for 10 minutes, that's a big problem in the first 10 minutes of the game, as opposed to a Medusa who, whoop-de-doo, you have like an ultimate orb plus perseverance. It's like, whatever, doesn't matter. So Rattlesnake, Timbersaw has been a very interesting hero in this too. I don't think King J played a phenomenal one early in the game, last game, but in the mid game he did a lot of damage, and Timbersaw in the first game too did quite a bit of damage. Pretty important hero.
Absolutely, and you know that's what's fun about these very even matchups. When you see, you know, we've covered it all. Rattlesnake and Rising Stars both love to get an early lead, both love to parlay that into a mid game and late game win. Really relying on having success early. Neither team plays particularly well from behind, but at the same time, neither team really knows how to push an advantage either. So very volatile games up to this point. And what's been the difference maker is who's making the big plays. And I want just to set an example. Sag played an amazing Lion in game number 2. I mean, he was just on the money with his Earth Spikes. He was where he needed to be and always bailing his teammates out. He missed one Earth Spike. One, and that was on Siler when they could have taken his Aegis away and probably killed him twice. Because he missed that one Earth Spike, it's arguable that was the turning point in the game. Such a huge missed opportunity, and right after that, we saw Rising Stars group as 5 and begin pushing down towers, tier 3 towers and racks off of that initial Aegis. If they had gotten that there, maybe they free Luo up some more time. Maybe he gets another big item. Maybe that Daedalus comes out a little bit earlier. Maybe they're able to start.
Ogre. Nice.
Maybe they're able to start getting the job done in other ways. But instead, they miss the opportunity, and Rising Star is able to capitalize on it. So we see Ogre Magi, which obviously excited Merlini quite a bit, coming out. And yeah, you get to see, you know, think about the 6.78, which is really the best frame of reference we have for that hero. He's great in any kind of an offensive lane. I mean, his Fire Blast is excellent starting at level 1. You can do some really creative stuff with Bloodlust if you want to do something like try to take a level 1 Roche. Of course, Alliance kind of exposed the world to that. Don't think that's going to be the case here, as they just don't have the team comp for it. But still, always a lot of fun to hear the cha-ching and the jackpot meters going off in the middle of a Dota match.
Yeah, I think that This is going to be an interesting game. Rising Star actually banning out the Medusa, the Respect Dusa ban, and Sardar versus no Invis heroes. I mean, Anti-Mage actually does not have that much armor for an agility hero, and he's actually very susceptible to physical burst. And Sardar is actually astounding at that. And with the bash block down too, you can't really just BKB man fight him because bash versus no bash, it's pretty easy to see who wins. And Amplify goes to BKB, so I don't actually know if they're going to aggressively aim with Slardar. Slardar like kind of is weak in that because he can't actually farm very well.
Yep.
And if he's going to be contested, then it's not the greatest for Slardar. Anti-Mage can catch back up very, very easy, being able to blink and being able to clean up in team fight. Slardar, he doesn't have the mobility that Anti-Mage does, not being able to blink for 5 seconds, and you don't really get Battle Fury on him either, just because he's not that type of hero. So, Solar's the hero that I'm going to be looking at for early game. Rattlesnake, they're just going to do what Anti-Mage, Crystal Maiden, Ogre Magi, probably bottom, and Timbersaw in the offlane or the middle. But it's really, where do they put the Solar? Do they want to contest Anti-Mage's farm, and how do they want to play it out?
Yeah, it's, you see the Clockwork and the Slardar both on the same team. Those are two heroes that both really do like mid. And, of course, CTY, after his command performance in Game 2, you kind of want to give him the nod right off the bat. But we've seen mid Slardars have success since 6.79 debuted. And to tell you the truth, I almost want to say I would rather see Slardar wind up in that situation, because you want a Slardar to peak in time to shut down the Anti-Mage. You don't want him getting up a few items right about the time Anti-Mage has his Manta style. You want him in the face of that Anti-Mage using the easy spam ability of Slithering Crush, using the pursuit capabilities that the new and improved sprint that was changed. And wow, get to see a Bristleback. That's fun. Not really, I mean, there's really just not...
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you see that pickup. Obviously very defensive, a hero that does pour out a lot of damage if he's able to stay alive, does need some items to build a little bit of HP or at least some very good micro to make sure that most of the damage you're eating is catching you on the side and on the back. But, yeah, this is another hero. Had never casted a Medusa in a professional game, had never casted a Bristleback. So, a night of first for me.
I think they need pure damage versus a Bristleback. It was very smart of them to take Timbersaw early because the damage reduction does not work versus pure damage. So if they get like an OD, OD's like okay in their lineup, but there's no really other good pure damage besides Timbersaw and OD. It looks like they will go for a Visage last. This really risky lineup for Rising Stars. If they fall behind and Rattlesnake gets farm on Anti-Mage or Bristleback, game's over. Like their comeback is just like garbage. And what are you gonna do? Like hook shot at Anti-Mage? Just going to blink out whatever. And Bristleback, how are you going to take him down if Slardar is not farmed? And how are you going to find farm on Slardar when you need to keep down Anti-Mage too? So it's like Rising Star is going with a very risky lineup. Rattlesnake going with a very greedy lineup. So it's pretty standard stuff. Well, not standard heroes, but standard styles.
I'll tell you what I really like about the Bristleback pick more so than anything is he's pretty much a direct counterpick to Slardar. Slardar is one of those heroes that wants to stay in your face. He wants to use sprint, etc. because of the easy spam ability of his spells. Of course, Amplify Magic, very low cooldown, and Slithering Crush, an extremely low cooldown as well. So he wants to be not just hanging around or engaging on a single target. He wants to run into the middle of these fights and go ape on everyone. Bristleback makes that tough with the viscous nasal goo. Slow and everything else associated with that is just a pretty decent counter to the entire playstyle that Slardar's innate traits kind of dictate. So really like that pickup outside of the fact that, again, I've never casted a Bristleback, and it's always fun. And, I think I'm starting to run out of heroes. There aren't many heroes I've never casted now. And
have you casted a Meebo?
Yes, I have.
Have you casted a Death Prophet?
No, yes, I have. Going all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Monthly
Did we
Madness.
see one in 6.79 yet?
Nope.
I don't even know.
Going all the way.
Have you casted a Skywrath?
Yes, I've cast Skywrath actually probably about a half dozen times back when Na'Vi was.
Wow. I only saw him like twice from Na'Vi.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of other heroes that you may not have cast yet. How about Sniper?
Sniper? Yep. Sure have. Loaded Plating for Zenith.
Okay, well, I'm running out of heroes.
Zeus. I haven't casted a Zeus.
You haven't casted a Zeus yet?
Nope.
Oh man, I've seen some Zeus games. I haven't casted any myself. Oh, actually, I think I have. Well, I think there's not too many other heroes. How about Omni Knight?
Omni Knight, sure have. Multiple times.
Have we seen? Oh man. Okay, well, I'm just gonna stop naming heroes, and you've just casted way more games than I have. So, looking at this lineup, who has draft advantage? One thing that really boggles me from Rising Stars: why would they pick Slardar? Like, if you want physical damage versus Anti-Mage, there's like Alchemist. Alchemist just much better at farming, better insurance late game in case you get behind. Also has a lot more AoE, and also doesn't really get kited as easily because his stun is longer duration.
Yep.
And he's just better overall in a triple lane. And they don't have any invis heroes, which is really where Amplified Damage shines. It's I mean, it's good for the minus armor, but really it's like good at killing Weaver, killing any Shadowblade heroes. And without that, like, they picked him very, very early too. They picked him 4th pick, not only 5th pick. So if there's a Weaver pick, yeah, I understand. If there's like a maybe some guy who gets a Shadowblade, I understand. But I don't understand in this one, but he does really need BKB though. That is like the most important thing for Rising Stars. They don't get a BKB on Starter, or at least start snowballing early. If he goes like Treads and Blink and starts killing people, that's okay too. But he needs BKB or they need to snowball. If he doesn't get either of those, then I think that Rising Stars is just going to be under a lot of pressure, like 25 minutes onwards, just from a Bloodlust and Anti-Mage, Bloodlust and Warpathing, Timbersaw. These and Bristleback rather. These heroes are not easy to kill. How are they going to kill these really difficult to kill heroes?
I couldn't agree with you more. And I'll tell you, we saw the last time we saw a starter pickup. You and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was like our first. No, it was the debut week of 6.79 because we saw the Disruptor pick, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is Slarder's one of those heroes that, so long as he has a little bit of help, even if it's just a Disruptor who's going to be able to glimpse or be able to throw out a kinetic field to just narrow the battlefield in some sense. That's what Slarder needs from his teammates. He has a little bit. Can you hit a Shackle? Can you hit a Hook? Can the Visage Familiars find a way to stun more than one hero? Can Telekinese not only grab one, but maybe stun one on the way down as well? A lot of ifs are built into this lineup and the way that they're going to synergize with Slarder. Compare that to something like a flat-out kinetic field or just a vacuum wall that'll bring everyone together, so on and so forth. So a lot of this is going to come down to, as you said, not just Slarder and how well he scales through the early part of the game and into the mid game, but he's going to need some really, really good play out of his supporting cast as well. Otherwise, he's going to feel pretty useless and feel pretty kited. As you mentioned, I mean, outside of just how hard these heroes are to kill, think about what they have to deal with him. Anti-Mage can blink, Bristleback can just turn and run, and then you're banging on his back, and that doesn't do anyone any good. Timbersaw has Timber Chain to get away. Ogre Magi has a built-in slow, and then you have a slow and a single target disable that is guaranteed to hit in Frostbite before BKB anyway. So Rattlesnake just has so many ways to just say, no, Slarder, we're just going to kite you. We're not going to worry about you. If we can pick off your Rubik and your Visage in particular, you're not going to have a whole lot that you can rely on to keep us, sitting still.
I would have liked to see like maybe an Abaddon pick or something like that,
right,
or just another source of like reliable damage, like OD pure damage versus Anti-Mage, really, really good. Pure damage versus Bristleback, really, really good. And Sheepstick, so they can actually lock heroes down and not get kited. And he's ranged, so he's less likely to get kited. And he doesn't really get affected by Mana Break and Mana Void because he almost has like infinite mana. So all these things are like really, really good, but like Slardar and Visage last pick. I mean, I guess they want another support, but so they could have made it work. I would have been a big fan of OD this pick, but regardless, I mean, just from the draft alone, I think Rattlesnake has a slight advantage, even though their lineup is way more unconventional with the Bristleback, with the Ogre Magi. But this should be some fun times. Unlimited Fire Blast with CMR, right?
Oh, exactly.
And the Scepter, is this going to be a carry Ogre Magi with the unrefined Fire Blast that got buffed in 6.79?
Let's hope so. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say there will be a Midas. There will be a Hand of Midas built by someone. I'm not sure by who.
I think you mean many Midas.
Many Midas and Necrobooks with a Z is how you say that. And
Necrobook is just not very good this game. It's like Anti-Mage is not going. I don't think there's going to be any Necrobooks. I think there will be at least one Midas though.
Oh, of course.
Actually, who's going to get Midas?
Luo.
I don't know.
Luo will build a Midas. I would be willing to wager anything.
Maybe Johnny.
It's possible.
I don't know. I mean, they're triple laning top, so I don't think that Lua is going to be able to get a Midas.
All right,
we'll see. Over under this game, I think is less than 3.5.
I say 2.5 over under.
I would say under.
All right, I'll take the over on that.
I'll take the under. I would take the under on 1.5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think only one.
That's bold. It's bold. I'm going to say 2.
Well, we are talking about 6.79.
Exactly.
Stranger things have happened.
Bristleback will build one. That's who will build one. He will build one, and then he will build every survivability item in the entire game. Yeah, it's just when does that matter? We had, 5 Midas in one game? It doesn't matter.
That's true. He's already used his Blink. I don't know when he uses Blink, but, I mean, 1 minute, 1 Blink down, that's not that big a deal. But if he were versus a Cogger, then that would be a much bigger deal. So the Cogger is on bottom, though. Did you introduce the lineups?
Not yet. We're letting the runes spawn and all that, taking our time. Windrunner going to be taken mid by CTY. It's an interesting choice given his standout performance on this hero. That's the Rattle Trap, a.k.a. the Clockwork Goblin. He'll be handled by King J this time around. Visage going to be played by QQQ with Sylar on our double damaged Slarter at the moment. Of course, that's the hero around which this entire lineup rotates with XDD on our Rubik. On the other side of the river, we got the animation taking a little bit of harassment. He'll be played by Luo. The Bristleback, my first time casting the hero. Pretty damn excited about it. He'll be played by Icy. Timbersaw taken mid again by 1-2-1. He'll be setting up shop against that Windrunner, taking a little bit of ranged harass. Johnny doing what he can with Jungle CM here on the Crystal Maiden, of course. And Sag looking to hit major jackpots, looking to make people rage on the Ogre Magi.
I think that the Windrunner mid is actually a very good choice. I thought that they were doing like Clockwork middle and they support Clockwork middle and the support Windrunner, but that wouldn't make sense with the Visage and Rubik. And now that CTY's on Windrunner, I actually have a lot more confidence in their lineup, because if he gets farmed up, he's going to be really difficult to kill. They don't really have that much to lock him down, and even so, he can just Windrun away from Timbersaw, or sorry, not from Timbersaw, from Anti-Mage as well as the Bristleback. So, and if he's a sheep carrier too, he can land some sick shackles. So my faith is restored in the R-Stars lineup. And on top lane, we see right-clicking already happen. Luo just forced to just chill there. He is getting a lot of experience, though, but now we see the creep pull from XDD, and they actually blocked it themselves. You guys gotta scout out the lanes before you creep pull. You should creep pull into the big camp, though, right now.
We will see. Yep, right now, just gotta drag him away, our Pied Piper known as XDD. No response is coming. Looks like they're willing to sack this tower.
Oh, they blocked this spawn. Wow, that's smart.
So expecting, yeah, it actually is smart. I just process what you said. Yeah, they blocked the spawn with their own ward, so not allowing them to pull it there, and then they accidentally blocked it with the sentry ward. But anyway, these two supports from our Rattlesnake are just kind of hanging around right now. Level 2 on Crystal Maiden, just short of level 2 on Ogre Magi. In the meantime, no real contesting of this tower at top. Luo, like you said, just soaking experience, about level 3.5 right now.
Look at this play by CCY. He knows the supports are missing. He keeps his chicken way far in the back so it doesn't get sniped. Well, we may see a very early first blood right now, though.
Here we go. Windrun is there. Do they have the damage? There's the Nova. CTY uses the shackle, and that might end up getting him killed. He had a chance to get away throughout the power shot. Haste Rune, I guess, just assuming 1-2-1 would have dove him regardless, so trying to do what damage he could before he goes. Nonetheless, Rising Stars gives up first blood. Give it to the mid Timbersaw
right now. This Sentry War was a really, really big mistake on their part. If they don't have that, the tower goes down in 2 minutes. Now, with the supports getting first blood, they might be able to rotate top and defend this push. They actually do not have Glyph up. There is no Basilius. They really have to get this tower down. They have to make them pay for triple ganking CTY in middle.
King J at bottom sitting at level 4.5, exactly where they want their Clockwork to be. Bristleback a little bit ahead, so going to be a battle of the tanky heroes. Bristleback. Shush, I'm tired.
Obama.
Exactly. I'm very, very tired. Dota keeps me alive, though. Keeps me alive and happy. But yeah, Luo is already to level 4.5. I mean, obviously his CS is terrible, sitting at just 1, so singular CS.
The supports are coming right now, though. They have to get this tower, and I don't think they're going to be able to get it in time. They're gonna like smoke around and just go on them because they have reserve reward, but they aren't going to be able to scout it out. This could be really, really bad for Rising Stars right now.
Level 3 on Slarter has 2 points in the Slithering Crush. Let's see if they can catch him out. It's going to be Johnny leading the way. 1-1 the build, so no surprise there.
XDD, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Why did he just tank like 5 hits from tower?
Here we go. He's going to end up dead right here. There's a Slithering Crush to disable Luo, though, but Icy there as well. Soul Assumption doing good damage. They do manage to clean up the Rubik. Now Slarter trying to sprint away, but the slow is there. 4 stacks on it. They just don't have the damage. In the meantime, they do manage to bring down the Visage as well. So even though they don't manage to kill off the Slarter, they get 2 support kills and a big advantage. 3-0. Rattlesnake comes out firing early here in Game 3.
That was so bizarre. What in the world was XDD doing? Was he like tanking so the siege creep didn't get hit? I just have no idea. Their supports are missing. They just like almost died in mid. They're clearly going back to heal. He has to understand that they're probably going to do something about this top tower that's under fire, and this anti-mage that hasn't been protected all game. So just a huge lapse in judgment by them, and I mean, maybe they felt really safe with the Sentry or with the Observer Wars, but they have to know that good teams are going to smoke. So that was just a big blunder by them. And this Sentry Ward. The Sentry Ward is finally dead, but had that been up, then they would have been able to get the tower. Or had that not been up, rather.
And the support's making their way back to lane now. Luo out in lane will be telekinesed and right into the Slithering Crush. Could not blink away. Do they have the damage? They don't. Even with Soul Assumption.
He should have Grave Shield, and then maybe they can chase too. Oh, actually, yeah, they probably could have chased with that. But yeah, Luo is pretty farmed right now. 1, 2, or pretty high XP. He's almost level 6 already. That's ridiculous. These supports are rotating again. They're going to scout him out with Observer Ward right now. Are they going to do anything about it? They still have the Observer Ward over here, so XDD will probably be scouted out too.
And XDD poking his nose out a little bit. Let's see if Johnny will
pull
the trigger.
They should take a fight right now. Anti-Mage can't come into the fight.
Here we go. He's going to be telekinesis into the crush. Big TP reaction is going to be there. Here comes the Chakram through the woods. Sylar will be cleaned up using the Whirling Death. XDD and QQQ, very slow. No boots on either of them. There's the Mana Void. Didn't do all that much damage. Might be enough, though. Chakram got both. They will get XDD for sure. And now the Frostbite on the QQQ. That's going to make it 6-1, just like that. 1-2-1, who got the first blood, adds a few more, make it 3 more to his total, and they are just rolling. We see King J with a hook, using his rocket flare, trying to spot some kind of a target, but going in right now, not the best advised course of action.
Bristleback has been top twice right now, and King J has to rotate too. Like, when his team's getting demolished like that, he has to do something about it. They haven't been able to get any towers, and Rising Stars just totally blundered this early game. They were 3-on-1 situation on top for a good 3.5 minutes, unable to take the tower, unable to kill Anti-Mage, and letting him get all the experience in the world too, trying to push the tower really, really heavily, and blocking that spawn. Just all those things combined just led to this really, really out of control start for Rattlesnake, and they have a way better late game.
There's a hook from King J, gonna catch out Sag. He's down to half health, can't even get off his Fire Blast, and a power shot from the low ground, enough to help close the gap at least a little bit. That was a failed gank attempt coming out of Rattlesnake, so unable to really make any use of it. 2-6. Finally, Rising Stars beginning to show a little bit of a pulse.
Yeah, they need King J to make things happen, and it's kind of a burden for him that he's like, man, well, my other lane just got boned. CTY gave it first blood, not his fault, and Top just absolutely got boned. That's totally their fault. But King J is like, okay, well, I have to go around. I'm level 6 right now. My lane is the only lane that didn't lose terribly, and now he has to find a lot of kills. And he doesn't have hookshot up, so he's farming for a little bit. Almost has his Trez. I'm surprised he doesn't actually have more items, considering his CS. He is 31-7 right now.
Another smoke coming out of Rising Stars. It's going to be XDD and QQQ making their way through the jungle. They may end up running into Sag and company. They drop a smart ward, but they've got another, nope, 1-2-1 is going to go ahead and turn around. They're likely to find the Ogre Magi, and we could see Slarter taking a bit of goo in the face and a TPN. They're going to try to 4-on-2 this. They really want 2 picks here, and they certainly could use them. Rattlesnake with Icy way up front. Here we go.
Why did he stand right there?
There's the telekinesis right into the Slithering Crush, and he didn't manage to get the shackle off. They should be able to kill him, but Soul Assumption comes out a little late. There's the Chakram to reinitiate. XDD, a little grouped up at the moment, and a Bloodlust enough to get...
look at Luo now. Luo is just free-farming away now that they've totally, completely ditched top lane. And yeah, they can kill Bristleback, but now they have the Anti-Mage to worry about. As opposed to Rattlesnake, all they need to do is keep down Sylar, and the mid-game will be really, really easy for them. Sylar is hurting too. 0-1-2, 42 CS, second in the game right now, but no early kills for him, no early tower for him. This is not what you want from a hero that has been babysat by 2 heroes all game, man. They are just putting all the pressure on Sylar, just following him wherever he goes.
And they're going to be able to... Oh, never mind. Temper Chain a little too slow. They now 1-2-1 might be in some trouble. There's the goo on the QQQ. 1-2-1 throws the Chakram out one more time. A lot of damage being done, and they will manage to get him. However, there's a crush that stuns too. Can they get Sag? Nope, he's going to have to run away. Icy taking so much of that damage, but spraying so many quills at the same time. Sylar does manage to get some payback, but cost them the Rubik, and 1-2-1. Wow, the hook way off the mark that time. King J really shot that one wide. 5-8. Rising Stars is doing a pretty decent job of getting things together now. Luo, as mentioned, though, being left completely alone. I want you to look at the net worth. Even though he was completely out of the game for the first few minutes, he's actually within 500 gold of the highest farmed hero on the map right now at 10 minutes. So definitely down, but not out at all.
1-2-1, same 10% performance as the first game. 6-0-0, just phenomenal farm and contribution to his team. So like he's just doing a little bit of everything right now. CTY, decent recovery after that first death, 2-1-1. So 2-0-1 after his first death, which is not bad. He is phase boost mech. They really need the mech right now though. Bristleback, he's like kind of in that point where if he starts dying like 1 or 2 more times, then he's going to be irrelevant, and then it's going to be all on anti-mage. I mean, he's going to be annoying as Bristlebacks are, but he's not actually going to contribute that much to team fights. So he needs to stop dying if he can, but they also need to keep up pressure on Siler. So I understand what he's trying to do right now. We see a smoke behind, but there are 2 heroes there. Getting a kill on Visage is not that important, so they should not dive him like this.
Yep, they're gonna spot Slaughter though.
Is important though.
Here's 2 TPs immediately out. There's King J ready to try and engage. There's the hook, and he got them both. Caught them both in the cogs. Beautifully shot, made up for the one he just flat out whiffed on earlier. 2 big kills, and just like that, it's a tie Dota game. 8-8. Rising Stars charging back with a vengeance.
Yeah, that was really smart. Oh, CTY in middle. That was really smart of them to rotate this Siler down bottom, just because they can protect them a lot better. Like every time they try and go on someone, there's just immediate TP reaction, as opposed to when they went up here and the supports went up, it's like 2 screens away from the T1 tower, and the response is just way too slow. King J may be able to TP in with a hook shot, but still, that's a long shot by any means, and they just need to be able to protect Siler. They're doing a very, very good job of it. It's like kind of reminds me of the first game, except Medusa's like not as big of an impact as or Medusa's way bigger of an impact than Starter is in the late game. So I'm still worried for Rising Stars just because of anti-mage. The AM problem has not yet been solved, and he is just beating on this T1 on top. He's getting free farm. Whoa, he's actually not going for Battle Fury. It looks like an early Vlad's build, which is not bad, I suppose, just because they have the Bristleback to rely on. There's a TP response.
Immediate blink away. The pickup that's coming out right now for 1-2-1 that I absolutely love is he's rushing a mech. He got his arc boots up. He'll have the mechanism. He's such a great hero based on the composition that Rattlesnake's running to carry that mech. He's going to benefit a lot from the bonus armor, of course, but he's just always in the thick of things. And of all the heroes who have had a great start, 6-0 for him, not doing something goofy like building a Midas, get an item that's going to let you run over Rising Stars, and that's exactly what that accomplishes.
This might be a no Midas game.
I hope so. I would be so pleased. Hang on, there's initiation on the Icy. Telekinesis after the Slithering Crush that time, and blown up no matter the order of initiation. Sag sitting behind the tower. The mech's out on the Windrunner as well, so CTY has that equalizing factor. Let's see how much they want to contest this. Quite a bit now. And Chakram, one of the ultimate tough-to-crack abilities, buys them time.
Blink. Wow, Siler recovered so nicely. Now that he has that blink, I was wondering how Icy got picked off there because they have this Observer reward, but if he just buys a blink and just blinks in, they can pick him off before any sort of TP comes in from his support. So this blink is a really big deal from Siler, and now they can actually pick off Anti-Mage too, because he doesn't have a Manta style. It's not coming out anytime soon. He does have the Vlad's, but I mean, Vlad's is I think it's a really good pickup in this situation because they do need the armor, and they do need to contest the Rising Stars when they fight this early game, and it does help with the split push too. So not a bad choice, way better than Vanguard that I've seen on some supports, or some anti-mages rather.
Continuing to just farming up in mid. Meanwhile, the rest of his team managing to hold this bottom tier 1, and with Bristleback now out in front, just one more layer.
They need King J there. I don't know why he's not there. He, like, if anything, it should be like,
ooh,
I thought that was going to last.
Yeah, I don't know how it didn't, to be honest. That was about as direct on as it gets, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. They're going to take the tower one way or the other, and the Visage stun and the blink. Oh, what an unfortunate pause there.
Johnny is dead for sure.
Yep, Johnny's done.
He's probably going to get telekinesis back. So he's probably, if he uses his amp on the Icy, I don't know. 1/2/1 still has those spells up too. So Icy probably not dead. Johnny dead for sure though.
Johnny caught out really well done there with the Visage Familiar to lead things off and guarantee that when Siler blinked, it was going to be a sitting duck target. King J is not far away and could make his way over. Don't think he'd get there in time though, because I would imagine Rattlesnake's just going to go ahead and cut bait at this point. Just go ahead and cut their losses, get behind this tier 2 and try to defend it, and just continue to free up some time for Luo.
Yeah, like King J has to be there for this fight though. Like right now, he can just like hookshot Icy, or if Sag tries to come in and save his teammate, he hookshots him, and they lose more than they have to. Especially since Anti-Mage most likely isn't going to come. No TP scrolling them. He actually picked up a very late quelling play, so it's just going to be a farming Anti-Mage. And if he really has to fight, he will. But I don't think he's going to come. So it's like a 4-on-4, but who cares about a clockwork farming? Absolutely not necessary at all. I see a ping out on mid. There's a defense thing on there, but let's see what happens.
Johnny will be cleaned up. No surprise. There's the telekinesis on the Icy and the Soul Assumption. He's spraying out a lot of quills, so it's a lot of damage. There's the goo on the XDD. What did he manage to get? He got Chakram. Mech gets them back up and in fighting shape, and we see King J making his way around.
Will has actually come too, so this is really good for Rising Stars that they forced him to stop farming.
He's going to go right to the Ancients. In the meantime, King J still hanging around on the river, found himself a regen rune, and they're going to go for it again, and they're going to catch 1-2-1. There's the Chakram and the Telekinesis. Right back into it, Soul Assumption, and the beautifully timed Shackle into the power shot. Icy making a run behind the Tier 2 now, Sag and Johnny. All that's holding things together is Luo is forced to flee towards middle lane, spotted out near these Ancients. King J thought about throwing a hook and thought better of it. A little surprised he just took the kills and didn't try to make more of that, though.
Yeah, he has level 4 Blink right now on anti-mage. They need to get this T1 tower in mid, though, so I think that's the right idea. Forcing the issue at the T2 is not the right thing because it's just way easier for them to delay. And this T1 tower is actually more important to them right now, so they can do Roshan, which they can completely do with Slaughter. Just amp him again, and then boom, just kill him, womp him down with that -10 armor at level 1. Luo farming away 767. I'm not really sure what he's going to get next. It's either going to be a Manta, or I'm pretty sure it's going to be Manta. That seems a logical choice, but this tower, they need to be here to defend. Timbersaw should have TP'd and Shotgun. They really have to stop losing towers, though. This is really important, because Rising Stars is all about the mid-game, all about taking control of the map, and they're just losing tower after tower, losing fight after fight, and they just need to delay to let their late gamers get some farm.
I'll tell you, 1-2-1 really suffered a ton from that death he just took. That delayed his mechanism. Mechanism is the only thing that allowed them to reinitiate after that initial push in that bottom lane. And Rising Stars having a mech, even as close as he is, this
might be a Roshan attempt right now. This is super smart from Rattlesnake. I'm just gonna call him RS.
There you go. Yeah, we'll just call it both games RS. It's okay. They're gonna sneak their way in using the goo, of course, to their advantage. That Vlad's allowing them to take this pretty confidently, and Rising Stars seems to have no inclination as to what's going on. King J might check it with a rocket flare in 4 seconds, but 4 seconds might be a little bit too late. Roche already down to just
they have
half
to know with the early Vlads that this is a possibility, right? He's had the Vlads for like a good 3 to 4 minutes now, so they definitely should have known that he has it. I don't know why they aren't scouting it out. There's no one defending top, no one farming anywhere on the map aside for a Crystal Maiden, which doesn't really contribute anything to Roche, but this is the very common trait that we see. In terms of who got more out of it, I don't know. I say it's still about even. Like, Rising Stars gets more control of the map. They pretty much like cut off this much of the map from Rattlesnake because they can't farm those 2 camps in the jungle safely anymore. But at the same time, they can possibly take a fight. Bristleback, Aegis Bearer, and not a big fan just because I don't really think he does anything right now.
There's a Midas, by the way. Siler.
Okay.
Breaks the cherry, pops the champagne, and I'm sure we'll see at least one more. Anyway, this bottom tier 1 in trouble. There's Slaughter going to catch the Bristleback. Now, Bristleback has the Aegis. There's a shackle that will allow them to pop it. Let's see if they want to come back in off of it. King J looking for a hook. There it is. Manages to find it on Sag. Battery Assault and 1-2-1 re-engaging off of it. In the meantime, here's Bristleback throwing out the goo. There's a Mana Void that does good damage, but Freezing Field doing good damage as well. CTY, the last remaining hero up. Johnny left to get off the entirety of his ulti, manages to make it an ultra kill. And CTY being body blocked by Luo at this point. That's going to be a wipe. Gets the shackle off, but Rampage by Crystal Maiden came in to finish things off. It was huge.
Like a ridiculously huge freezing field right there. And the Aegis really paid off for them right there. And I mean, I guess giving it to Bristleback was the right idea because they used so many spells on him. I don't know why Rising Stars actually took that fight because Slaughter came in and then like 2 people TP in and the rest of their team was over here. Like, it's going to be like 3 on 5, like at best for like 5 or 6 seconds. And then actually it was 3 on 4 because Bristleback died, but if you kill him twice, you're gonna get like massively quill sprays. So yeah, they should have just let that fall. They were in a pretty good position to put pressure on a T2. This is not important to them. This tower is not important because they're not farming their jungle anyways. And like Rattlesnake is gonna be able to farm, but that's just only because they won the team fight right there. So they have to like keep up the kills. They have to pick good fights mostly. That was just not a good fight to take.
We're just
yeah, Midas. Midas.
Yep, told you there'd be another one. Here we go. Hook in, but hits a creep instead of Icy. And a little bit of damage down with the power shot.
2 Midases. After the Rampage, Crystal Maiden gets one. So
yep.
Over under. Yeah. In Midas, I
told you.
Why did I doubt?
Yep, you knew they were gonna have it, man. It was a nice Rampage out of the Crystal Maiden, though. Anyway, we got a big group here in mid. However, Siler just continuing to farm up. He's got 1,000 gold. And we'll see what item he wants to grab up next. And, you know, when it comes to how you build starter, it is very situational. They have a lot of options in how they can approach him. But, I mean, you know, is this a game perhaps where he gets an armlet, or does he just decide to tank himself up as much as he can so they can try to run over Rattlesnake before Anti-Mage's farm kicks in?
I think you get BKB and just run over. Yeah. But with the Midas, it's going to come out a little bit too slow. That fight was just like the worst thing that Rising Stars could have taken. Like, if you look at the gold graph, the slope of that graph is just pretty darn steep. Like 12 minutes to 17 minutes, they accumulate like a 5,000 gold lead. And if they can continue that until 20 minutes, it's almost out of reach for Rattlesnake to come back from. But after that, the game is just right back to even. And even is good for the gold is like very close to even. And even is good for Rattlesnake because they have the better late game. And they have Anti-Mage, who is working on his Mantis style right now. Has it in about 1,200 gold.
12 to 13. There is an armlet. It's not going to be on the Bristleback this time, though. And they're able to hold the tier 2, so they will split back up. Go ahead and go right back to farming. Taking a look at where we stand in terms of pure net worth, the Anti-Mage has battled back from 1 CS at approximately 6 minutes into the game.
Luo, and they actually kill him.
Well, he just blinks over their head. It's fine. Luo's got swag. He'll manage to make it home. He is leading in pure net worth despite having only 1 CS at approximately 6 minutes into the game. And really at this point, I mean, Rattlesnake is, you can't say they're in control because it's just him and Timber really in the top 5 farmers, but at the same time, they do feel like they can set the pace. They're just so damn defensive. They're hard to push into, and Johnny showed us why. A rampage on Crystal Maiden just because you overcommitted and did not focus fire the big damage dealer. Yeah,
it was just awful positioning there. And they really need to keep this T1. This T1 is really important because they need to be able to control, like, this part of the map. They already, like, lost control of it just because they lost a team fight, so they know they're probably not going to win the next one. But like they can't afford to lose this because that just completely opens up Roshan for Rattlesnake, and that's what set up the T1 fight on the bottom in the first place.
There's the shackle, doesn't latch once again. Tower here in mid, down to about half health. Let's see if they want to take a fight. King J has XTD blocking him a bit. Might be looking for a hook if he can find one. In the meantime, Luo just continues to farm away, so it will be a 5-on-4 if they decide to commit. King J goes over to the flank, looking for someone to hit. Throws out the rocket flare. And
that's the Manta style already. Things are looking worse and worse for Rising Stars. They have to take a big fight right now, but Rattlesnake's positioning is just so good right now. It's very difficult for them to find a good initiate with hookshot or blink stomp from Silent.
Tower down to about a third, and forced out, and that's the, you know, the reach we always talk about. Whenever you hang on, shackle once again doesn't latch. So CTY struggling with those shackle shots this game.
Manta out on Anti-Mage now is just a ticking bomb, and like Rattlesnake, all they need to do is just force Rising Stars to run around and get under farm and not really starve them, just make them waste their time. And Anti-Mage is really good at doing that. And as long as he can keep tabs with Slardar and Slardar doesn't blink initiate on him, which he's probably not because he needs to farm his BKB, then they can push this game into like a 35+ minute mark, and Rising Stars' chance of winning slowly diminish as the minutes wear longer and longer in this game. And if they keep drawing them out, they can eventually do Roshan to sneak it in. It's 2 minutes until the 8-minute timer is up. We don't exactly know when it's going to respawn, but 2 to 5 minutes from now, take another Roshan, then take a fight with Anti-Mage and Aegis, and then the game is yours if you win one big team fight with that.
Well, they certainly picked up a nice tool to try and deal with the Anti-Mage, and King J snagging an Orchid. I absolutely love that. That way you can hook the Anti-Mage, make him a target priority, Orchid him as soon as he connects, then cog down so he can't blink away. And then allows him to do things like this, reliably go for a gank and know that if they see the Anti-Mage, he's not just going to blink away every time.
He's
They're
too
going to have
right
a chance.
Now, it came out too slow. If he had it like 5 minutes ago, it'd be really good, and then they can keep down the Anti-Mage, but they can't. And he has Manta. He'll just Manta, blink, whatever, no problem. So like Rising Stars have to devote like 3+ heroes to kill him right now.
Yep.
Maybe 2. Like maybe no, it has to be 3 heroes. So, and that's minimum. And Zagam finds out.
Yep, there we go. There's the hook. They are going to manage to catch Icy. Icy caught inside it, Orchided out as well. Here come the Visage Familiars to help out. Soul Assumption and a Telekinesis. Makes it an easy kill. Now the reinitiation. Visage going to be forced staff to safety. Mana Void not enough. Shackle off the illusion. That's one he needed to keep his buddy alive. And that should be enough to disengage this.
Slaughter's coming in from behind. If they initiate, if they pursue further, then they could have they could have turned that around. That was really ballsy by Rattlesnake to try and blink in there. If Starter were there, he just kills out the anti-mage, just straight up right there. So that's like after the shackle shot or during the shackle shot. So very risky play by Rattlesnake. I guess they knew where the Starter was, though. I wasn't actually paying attention to where he was before the fight, but I assume Farming on left side still needs his BKB. Even with the Midas, it's still coming along. Just needs 200 gold until he gets it. But anti-mage, looking at net worth, still 1,500 ahead of Slardar.
Invis Room picked up by King J. And he's been kind of hit and miss, figuratively and literally, with his clockwork so far. Has hit some good ones. And right now, I mean, taking a look at the gold graph, we can see it's damn near even. May as well be back at minute 0. Still very early on, even though it feels like a much longer game. 7,500 experience, though, Rattlesnake's lead. So they are beginning to pull away in levels a little bit, and pretty much all of that attributed to this guy right here, Luo, who got shackled and took a little bit of auto attack from CTY. He's level 16 compared to level 12, which is CTY, the highest on the entire side of Rising Stars.
I think they needed to sheep out earlier. I think Clockwork, I don't like the Orchid build. I think if he goes mech and Blade Mail or something, that's pretty close to 4,000 gold. It's a little bit more. And the thing is, if CTY has a sheep instead of his ultimate orb right now, or a Mystic Staff instead of his mech, he has a sheep right now. And then right then they can, he gets picked off on bottom.
CTY, frostbitten just to see what's on the TP. There's a 4 staff, doesn't matter. Not nearly enough in the meantime.
He has to play safe, 4 staff into the trees and TP out. Like you have to be wary of that. And CTY again gets picked off again. He could have done something about it. 4 staff like most people would do, and just TP back home. But just TP's back out in plain sight when all 5 heroes are missing. Gets picked off.
Roshan's back up. No one's checked it yet. And here we go. 2 moving in from the top, 2 moving in from the left. Doesn't look like they have that much interest in actually engaging. Instead, nope, check that. They do. Siler's just decided to jump him all the way. Everyone TPing out as he popped his BKB. It did manage to clean one up, though. Get a little revenge for that rampage that we saw just moments ago. And able to keep their tier 2 up. So in terms of towers, we can see obviously Rising Star still in control, but that Anti-Mage just continuing to do what he's going to do. 1,500 gold. Looks like he wants a BKB. Has picked up the Mithril Hammer. Does have enough for the Ogre Club, obviously, but only needs about another 700.
Oh, Roshan. This is smart by them. They don't actually have vision. Rattlesnake does not. So this is a really big deal for them, because if you look at the graph right now, it's like really, really close to being even. They need an advantage, and they need it right now. Looks like they are maybe going to scout it out right now, and this is going to be really close.
Down to about a third health. There's the Chakram. Taking a look at things. They're going to go for it. They are. Power shot gives the jig away. Can they collapse fast enough? King J spotted out, sees it, and we're going to see Roshan falling, and now there's a telekinesis onto the Bristleback. Shackles there along with Chakram, burning him down. He's doing damage in the AoE, but it doesn't matter. Slardar grabbing the Aegis gets a very high priority kill there, and we'll see what they want to do with it. In the meantime, they did lose their middle tower. Just heard a hook, and didn't even see where it was meant to go.
Meant to go right here. He thought that Anti-Mage blinked up to farm the Ancients. But it wouldn't matter. He wouldn't have gotten the kill on him. Or actually, he did. Did he use his Manta? I believe so. Maybe with that, they would have gotten the kill.
Another Midas, by the way. Visage joining the Midas band.
3.5. Clearly the right line.
Yep, 3.5. The over-under on your Midas bets. The Dota 2 Lounge. You need to make that a bet.
Midas? Are you kidding me?
Why not?
Oh my goodness, because he needs a Ghost Scepter.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. I'm a little sick of the Midas, not going to lie. Nice attempt from Siler, but 4 staffs aplenty, getting Johnny back to safety. Got a little help from his buddy there. Coming up on 28 minutes, we got 30 kills on the board, actually, and right now, you can just tell Rising Star is feeling like they do have a chance to take control of this game, and they have to do it now. This Anti-Mage just finished his BKB, so he's not going to be so scared of lockdown, and he's going to be able to start showing up to fights pretty much right now if he so chooses.
Yeah, it's really still a really close game. Like, Rising Stars are just like so close to losing their lead, and actually giving Rattlesnake the advantage that they need to just close out this game, or at least delay the game so that it's unreachable for Rising Stars. But they're just able to keep that ever so slight advantage that they need, and they're disadvantaged with the hero composition at this point in the game, so they really need that like slight gold and item lead, and it's just enough to keep this game really, really close.
Focus Fire popped by CTY. Glyph going to be used, but doesn't look like they want to contest it. They just want to trade it. Luo and Icy going to go for the tier 2 bottom. Yep, just going to trade them away. They should go down at about the same time, and they do. And do they want to push through? They're thinking about it. Siler still has that Aegis, still has his BKB. BKB 9-second duration on it. The one usage we saw for that one kill, all that's been done with it. And, yep, everyone's just going to go back home, retire to your corner, and, dry the blood off.
Yep. This is exactly what Rattlesnake should do. Delay the game, farm up on your carries,
Seriously.
and just drag them around. Another Midas. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, looks like Rising Stars is gearing for the late.
Never mind the force staff that you could have had. Never mind that. Let's get a Midas at 29 minutes.
I mean, he could have gotten it instead of the Orchid. I don't understand, like, what did the Orchid do this game?
Yeah.
Nothing so far. So why not if you're going to get a Midas, at least get it earlier so that you can farm with it for 10 more minutes, create like 1,000 more gold that way. But, whatever. I mean, are they really going to be able to do something late game? I don't know. Like, if Clockwork, let's say, with his Midas, gets a Scepter, if Visage, for example, gets a Scepter 2 with his Midas, is that going to be enough to beat the late game from Rattlesnake? It's still very, very questionable. I don't think so either. But, I mean, who knows? We've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, sometimes you just land the one big play, or sometimes you miss it. We've seen both of those happen tonight and completely swing results. Right now we see a smoke. It's going to be 4 of them moving out from Rising Stars. They still got a chance to catch one. That would be the Timbersaw. Would be a very choice pick if they can find him, and they do. Going to be popped off, and they're going to get the Courier for free. And 1-2-1 spent the Timber Chain there. They're going to spawn him. Hook. There it is. Got him just as he was trying to throw the chain. BKB's up, throws out the Chakram, and we see the ability stolen. He managed to actually get the Chakram himself. And there's a stun from Fire Blast. Siler's right there, has Blink. Nope, never mind. Put on cooldown by damage. There's a good telekinesis. Going to bring him back. And catching him out with the stun, with the Slithering Crush. Mech keeps him alive. Luo trying to engage now. Can't catch up with 1-2-1. Spread out on the high and the low ground. Johnny down to about half health. Siler can't get a break, but another good shackle shot and a pretty damn good freezing field out of Crystal Maiden before she dies. Visage ends up dead as well. Siler had his Aegis popped. They ended up giving away an Aegis in exchange for 2 on the side of Rattlesnake. They actually gave away 2 as well. They should get Sag here, one would think. Luo's there, and Shackle not going to latch again. Slithering Crush on Icy. Can they get him down fast enough? Fire Blast stolen by XDD, used to buy some time, unable to get the damage output done. Now they're going to re-engage. Rubik's down. Siler might be in trouble, and that is a big-ass Anti-Mage running around, looking like Manute Bowl chasing him down because of the BKB and the Blood Rage, or Bloodlust, but nonetheless, a big win, I would say, going the way of Rattlesnake because it cost them 2 to get 3 and an Aegis. Well played.
Well played indeed, and Anti-Mage was really good about his BKB usage. He waited until he actually needed it instead of when he blinked in, as opposed to Slaughter. Like when he blinked on bottom, Ogre had already left, and he can just BKB out of Frostbite or something. So he wasted his 10-second BKB there, so Siler still needs more items, so 3,700 gold. He does have the Midas, so nothing is out of reach for him, apparently. Anti-Mage 3,200 gold, though. If he gets Butterfly right now, it's going to be really difficult for Rising Stars to kill him. They desperately need the Sheep on Windrunner, too, so they can lock people down. And if Anti-Mage does decide to pop his BKB late, they could potentially burst him down. But Rattlesnake has actually been really good with the 4-steps, too, so Sheep is like not as big of a deal as it usually is because their supports are playing well.
Roshan, we'll know he'll be back up here in just a few minutes. Not sure exactly the time, but this definitely has the feeling of that game really anywhere. It's going to be a Roche fight. It's going to be a Roche fight that determines it all. And I don't know who.
I think it's going to be like 2 more Roche fights, if not 3. This is going to be like a really long game. Like Luo just wants to farm away. Rising Stars, they know they can't force the issue at the T3, so instead they play this really late farming game without the right lineup. And Midases can compensate for that, and Sheeps and Forceps can compensate for that, and a lot of islands on Siler. Speaking of Siler, looks like he's in a lot of trouble.
Yep. Got a BKB with 8 seconds on it if they want to use it. And here they come. It's a DD as well. Will they get the stun off? They will. BKB so quick on Siler, unable to chase him down.
Really good BKB there.
What an unbelievable reaction there. We're talking, couldn't have been more than 100 milliseconds, if that. His reaction to seeing the blink initiation and getting off his BKB. And now he has help there with the rest of Rising Stars running out the vagrants from their side of the jungle.
Poor Visage from getting chased down by with the one who hates magic. So looking at Roshan, 1 minute until the 8 minutes is up. So 1 to 4 minutes until it respawns. And what is Visage going to pick up next? He has the Midas, 1700 gold on him. Who else has the Midas? Clockwork. Is it going to be Necrobook? I think Scepter's better here. He already has a medallion.
I totally agree. I'm just making a joke. Necrobook.
Yeah.
It's just that's what happens. When anytime you at this point at this state of the meta, anytime you say what should he get, it's always minus a Necrobook, one of the two.
Need more.
Need more creeps, man. More creeps. Assault Cuirass done on Slarder. Very nice pickup for him. Going to help give him the even more minus armor to help try to bring down that anti-mage. But again, the issue I have is the same issue I had before, the lockdown. They need to lock down that anti-mage. There's a whole lot of ifs on their team.
Anti-Mage has Basher and Talisman Evasion, so he can just man more SARS. SARS actually usually really good on one-on-one man mode during BKB, but not when Anti-Mage is this farm. Yep. Anti-Mage is a good 4,000 net worth. That's pretty much a Skull Basher and the Talisman Evasion right there, and then some. So this gold difference is going to prove to be a pretty big deal. Unless Siler sold his Midas?
Hey! There is hope. And suddenly, soul is minus, and he gets things back together just a wee little bit.
Wait, when's Roshan going to respawn?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Yep, very short respawn time. Actually, minimum. If I'm not mistaken, that literally is the minimum.
Yeah, that is the minimum.
Yep, so.
Cool.
They may not check it fast enough. We'll see. Obviously, they'll poke
they
your
have
nose.
They have the familiar there. They'll be okay. They can take it down really fast now with AC and Sara with amplified damage.
Yep.
They really do need. I guess they're going to try to end the game pretty soon. But why would you go Midas if you're trying to end the game in about 40 minutes time? At least a 27-minute Midas. So, yeah, not a big fan of that Mr. Visage. But if you get your Scepter before the final push, then I will concur.
We've been seeing a lot of that lately. We talked about it. I want to say it was the Rising Stars. We brought it up last time too, where they pick a very mid-game lineup, then they go, everyone build Midas. So they have 5 Midases, and no one has any items to do anything with from 20 to 30 minutes.
He has a sheep. So CTY finally has a sheep. I guess he had a while ago, but I hadn't seen it in action. They can't. This is really risky. They shouldn't take this fight because they lose this fight, they lose Roshan.
Invis Rune.
If he blinks into them though.
Oh, there we go. CTY's got to get over there. BKBs are up. There's the shackle. Doesn't latch. Siler got bashed. Here comes the rest of the teams to try it. Oh, he got bashed again.
Oh.
Siler caught up with. Big pick there. Does he have buyback? Don't know. He does not.
They should not have taken that at all.
Yep.
Now they lose Roshan, and now the game is like pretty securely in Rattlesnake's hand. That was just one small blunder, seemingly small blunder, but it completely changes the game now.
Yep, another one of those small moments, man. You gotta make the right decisions. Gotta have the big plays. Game 2, it was Sag missing on
front two.
On game 2, it was Sag missing on that one Earth Spike. Game 3, an ill-advised decision to go hunting for heads in the jungle, and this very well could be the end, or at least the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Timbersaw actually takes that instead of the anti-mage.
CTY was Invis. He was like walking over here, scouting for heroes, and then Siler just like walks up and it's like, "Hey, anti-mage, what's up?" Blink, Manta, get bashed, and then the fight's over from there. Yeah. So, like, if CTY scouts out anti-mage, sheeps him, shackles him, stuns him with Sardar, he doesn't have a chance to BKB. They pick him off. They do Roshan instead, and then Rising Stars is still in the game. And instead of like a 2,500 gold lead for Rising Stars, we're looking at like a 5,000, and that would have been a completely different game. But now kill score is even. Rattlesnake is getting to that point where anti-mage is a little bit out of control. We're talking about 900 gold, 1,400 gold until it's Butterfly, and that's what are they going to do versus Butterfly on anti-mage? Like, he has AC, he does not have NKB, he does not have any evasion too, so he's just going to get bash blocked. If he could just straight up get an Abyssal if he wanted to. He doesn't even need the Butterfly.
Luo just continuing to farm away, like you said, 3,300 gold. He's got enough for his Eagle Song right now if he wanted to grab it. And XDD, the super high mobility Rubik, I like this out of Rising Stars. This addresses the concern I had where there's so many ifs in terms of being able to initially lock heroes down and allow Slarder to remain in these fights. Having that extra mobility here on the Rubik certainly opens that option up, allows him to get in and out of fights so much better. And of course, XDD has played very well. He's stolen some very high value spells. Seems like he's always had Chakra just about, and doesn't get a whole lot better than that in terms of trying to push and counter push.
Oh, maybe they can kill Luo. They can't kill him twice though, not with only 2 heroes.
And hanging around the... Yep, didn't even try. Showed his face, backed up, just wants to take some farm.
Oh, wait, he doesn't have the Aegis. Who has the Aegis? Oh.
Timbersaw.
Timbersaw, okay.
Yep.
Well, hook shot goes off, misses.
Both teams...
Why would he go Orchid? Oh, my goodness.
I understand the Orchid. They just haven't done anything with it. They haven't really tried to put it to that good of a use.
They have BKBs.
Yeah.
It's just... And even CM's really close. CM could bite her BKB right now. So, like, 4 heroes will get Orchid BKB. Doesn't matter.
She did. So that's going to be a BKB CM. And we've already seen one fantastic freezing field so far. Butterfly done. on that Anti-Mage, sitting at 21,500 net worth right now. To put that in perspective, that's just about 6,000 ahead of the highest on the enemy team, which, by the way, is a Windrunner. So the Windrunner, honestly, is in just as much of a carry position right now as Siler.
They have an opportunity right now. If Anti-Mage dies right now without buyback, they could potentially take a Rax right now. But
there we go. Very nice Slithering Crush. Got 2 of them. And Rattlesnake in a lot of trouble. Luo's going to come in and try to 1v5. Actually got bashed there. Now the Freezing Field. A lot of magic immunity means that's not going to have nearly the effect, but they do manage to track down the Clockwork Luo. Now has them on the run along with that Timbersaw, who still has his Aegis 1-2-1 and no danger of losing. A nice Shackle going to slow things down, but Luo continuing to just, wow, he actually lost him in the trees there. And Chakram slows him down again. Has Mana Void if he wants to spend it, and actually going to be hexed out. Yep, there's the Aegis gone. Now they're going to try to reinitiate. Nice Shackle! Caught Johnny and Luo both. Luo down to half health. They just don't have the damage to reliably clean him up. He got stunned by the Visage Familiars again. QQQ will end up right-click down. DD, XDD, making a run for it. They're going to dive it. Siler going all the way back behind the tier 3. Uses the Crush. Shackle not going to latch that time. 1-2-1 down below half health. Uses the Timber Chain. Is it enough? Visage Familiars are there. CTY right on his backside. One more Timber Chain might be enough. And no! One very nice Fade Bolt secures another kill. Icy not out of the woods yet either, as he's being pursued across the river. Going to be telekinesed and has a team behind him. Blink not there. He can't use it because of the quills. Can sprint though and manages to catch him right on the outside of it. Luo mantas at BKBs one more time. Going to town on Siler. Siler eats the Mana Void, trying to make a run for the river. He will make it, at least momentarily. Oh, there's the hook. Caught him out again, and finally that Orchid pays for itself. Luo ends up dropping the best hook we've seen shot all night. Icy trying to hold the line with his BKB of his own, but he's surrounded by nothing but enemy fire. 82 seconds on the Anti-Mage. Siler blinks ahead, thinks better of it, and sprints away. What an insane exchange, and you know what? At the end of it all, 22-22 split right down the middle, and the gold right at 0. This is a 41-minute game that shows no signs of slowing down.
That was crazy. I mean, Rattlesnake, they had a very good lead too with the Aegis and better late game, and they just decided to, oh, I'm just gonna dive to T3. Hey, why not? Hey, let's just dive to T4.
Exactly.
He's not even down. So I underestimate how willing these teams are to just have a lapse in judgment and be like, hey, that sounds like a fantastic idea. They already had won the fight though. Like they had like a couple of kills already. Timbersaw didn't lose his Aegis. Anti-Mage hadn't died yet, and then they just way overextended. Luo didn't even have to go back in there, but still, good buyback from Siler, keeping them in the game, and still just a very, very tenacious lead, about 500 gold in favor of Rising Stars right now.
Exactly. The experience is in favor of Rattlesnake, but really, I mean, at this stage when you have an Anti-Mage, the experience doesn't matter nearly as much as you think it would. I mean, Slarter, I mean, it's fun as hell, just to be honest, as a caster watching Slarter go against an Anti-Mage, because it's so much blinking and so much in and out, so much bashes and everything else. You gotta love the RNG in Dota. I absolutely love it. And
bashes. Siler needs more items though. Look at his
does.
Compared to the Anti-Mage. 8,000. Yep. 8,000 is a ton of money.
Oh, absolutely.
And he has Bloodlust on Anti-Mage too.
Almost, that's more than 50% of his total net worth that the Anti-Mage is ahead. I mean, that's a huge, huge, staggering amount. Luo has 960 right now, and he does not have buyback. He needs another 800 gold. That's something he's going to be seeking for sure right now. Roche will be back up. Well, we'll know sometime in the next 3 to 5 minutes when he's going to be back up one way or the other, or 3 to 6, excuse me.
CTY working on that damage item. Should have gotten Midas.
If I never see another hand of Midas in my life, I will be happy. I'm over it, man. I'm just over it. I am over it completely.
Wow, that was quick. It hasn't even been like a week.
I know, and that's the thing. I'm just over it because how many times have we seen? It's like, oh, Crystal Main got a rampage. Let's go buy Midas and run around in the jungle for 10 minutes and not do what we should with a ganking support. We have seen
They don't need to. They don't need to pick fights. It's okay. They just need to farm up. They know what's up.
Exactly. At least there's no Necro books. King J, I'm gonna smack him. He just uses hook for funsies now. Like he's got his scepter up, so he's just using it all the time. And as a caster, you hear it.
Need practice. Okay.
As a caster, you hear it, and you're just like, oh my god, there's a fight, and you go and look. It's like, nope, he just hit a creep. It's fine. But
gem up on Ogre Magi, trying to stifle the vision from Rising Stars. This next, I thought the last Roshan was important, which it was, but Rattlesnake just kind of threw it away. So this Roshan is even more important than the last one.
Up, telekinesis on the Luo. Can they follow it up? There's the Sheep and Siler. Oh, he got force staffed away. And the Slithering Crush is there, and a very nice Shackle, and the hook! Luo can't move! He's going to end up dropping if it... No, Siler actually ends up dead instead. The Anti-Mage made it away with about a 5th health, and now the counter initiation as Rattlesnake's on the warpath, both figuratively and literally. Icy leading the way on our Bristleback. 3 exchanged for 0. They did everything. That was as good a situation as they could have asked for to lock Luo down. Remember all those ifs I was talking about? They all came together, and it still wasn't enough. Rising Stars did everything they could have, and now Rattlesnake looking like they're taking a victory lap.
Yep, this T2 is going to go down for sure. T3, Rex. Siler does not have buyback. He will not respawn for a good 50 seconds, by which time his buyback will almost be up. And then after this, they do Roshan. Luckily for them, it's a little bit longer than a 1 minute respawn. Looks like almost 2 minutes. So Rising Stars catching a little bit of a break there. Nice shackle by CTY. You can't go all in on Luo though. Yep. He's way too tanky right now. And force stabs. Don't forget force stabs.
Exactly. Saw that a couple of times in that fight. And he got a multicast on Bloodlust too. RNG Love going the way of Rattlesnake. This will be certainly one set of racks. Slarter's still down for 15 seconds, and Luo's just shrugging off this damage at this point.
The hook shot missed. Oh, Sheep.
Yep. Force staff though. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Roche back up. And yep, about a minute now. So Rattlesnake gonna go ahead and pull back after bringing down the melee racks, but in all practicality, that's probably all she wrote. 4,000 gold advantage now going the way of Rattlesnake, and all told, it's been about a 10,000 gold swing going from the very tip top of Rising Stars lead to where I'm sure after Roshan we're going to see the gold lead go. And look at the experience. I mean, the experience at one point was 4,000 in favor of Rising Stars, now 14,000 in favor of Rattlesnake. They've just hung around, man, and they're closing this game out like pros.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about with Rising Stars lineup. Once it gets this late, what are they going to do? They can't really do anything versus the Anti-Mage. They can't kill him with a Sheep, with a very, very nice Shackle, with a blinking Sardar who stomped him afterwards. That was like a good 7 seconds of lockdown. Can't kill him. I mean, he was like pretty low, but then he got mech'd up to like 500 and just blinked out. So yeah, Rising Stars kind of crap out of luck. Unless Rattlesnake just decides to dive into T4 again, so you can't ever forget about them throws.
We'll see. I mean, right now, Rising Stars...
Roshan is up too. If they let Roshan fall, that's a completely different story too. But Rattlesnake should definitely be able to handle Roshan right now. Like, they should be able to control it. Make sure that no one does it. King J hookshotting.
And Anti-Mage
they're going to do it right now.
Should go.
Siler can't TP.
Anti-Mage could have an Abyssal right now if he wanted it. He's got 5,600 gold in the bank. Roshan back up. They know it's back up. At least Rising Stars does. And now, so does Rattlesnake.
That was a big mistake. Siler can't TP on left side. They see him, they do Roshan, and then they can't take a fight without Aegis and Cheese. Oh, actually, Sardar is coming back. He knows that they have to defend this. If they lose Roshan right now, they lose the game. So they absolutely cannot afford to defend this.
This is the Cheese Roshan, and Siler still a little lackluster in items, does have 4,000 gold set back. Buyback status up on every one but 2 heroes, both of which, however, are on Rising Stars. And here we go. They're going to make a move in, and I'm sure we'll see Rattlesnake take their shot here in just a moment.
Big fight. Here it goes.
And XDD blinks in. They're going to end up taking this for free if they don't get in there sometime soon. All right.
What in the world?
Okay.
Rattlesnake, what are you guys doing?
Okay, and here we go. Slarter's going to initiate. They're going to catch 1-2-1. They're going to try to blow him up. In the meantime, Luo going to be caught with a hook. Didn't manage to. He actually ghost sceptered out of that. Slarter's still going to town. In the meantime, there's another freezing field doing good damage. Mana Void cleaned up too. That's a double kill going the way of Luo, and yeah, the bash and so on and so forth. There's a nice stun. That should be about all there is to that, though. So a nice attempt, and I guess Rattlesnake just flat out did not care. Just said, we're so far ahead, we don't care if you have an Aegis.
I mean, they could have done that like before, though. Like,
Yeah.
what makes them want to fight against an Aegis and a Cheese as opposed to without it? So, I mean, slightly questionable there, but in the end, doesn't matter. Rattlesnake, even though the goalie's only 5,000, they are just way far ahead right now. Sutter has been forced to buy back a couple too many times. He's kind of forced to buy back right now, or they're going to lose another set of Rex, and his item is just very lackluster. Blink BKB. He had his power charge and Blink very fast, but BKB AC compared to Anti-Mage who picked up Abyssal, Manta, Butterfly, BKB. Since then.
And Luo's done fooling around, not even trying to chase kills anymore. There's a buyback from Slarter, so he will go ahead and withdraw at least temporarily. There's a 4-staff. They're going to try to chase him down, and there's going to be a beautiful shackle coming out of CTY. Can they follow it up? Luo locked down as well. Going to pop his BKB. Slarter just blown up. He got Abyssal and everything. And yeah, just way too much punching power. Anti-Mage just officially hit 1v5 status when his BKB is off cooldown. And are they? Yeah, they're going to pull back momentarily, but I would imagine they'll turn back around. And
They should not pull back. There's no how are they going to kill Luo? Luo has Butterfly. There's no Slarter up. He can just man up and yeah, just walk in there, do whatever. Doesn't matter.
Luo down to about half health. Chakram doing good damage. Yeah, he's wow. Okay, so CDY gets the kill. And there's a buyback on the Anti-Mage. Does he have Boots of Travel? Is he going to buy Boots of Travel? Nope, still got his Shred, so he's going to hoof it. And 1-2-1 barely dodges a power shot. What a bizarre game. Hook came up very, very close. Seems like the Timber Chain was about a half second ahead that time.
What is going on? I'm so flabbergasted that I mean I said he should just walk up, but not like that. And then he just blinked right into them.
Yep. I don't know, man. I 3.79 is it's different. Like it's making teams do silly things. That's what's happening. They've lost their minds. This is what madness looks like.
Windrunner needs to pass the cheese to Sargar right now. He can't die again. Like if he doesn't have buyback for 4 minutes, and this should be the last push unless Rattlesnake decides to get a little bit too frisky.
Honestly, I mean, at this point, Windrunner is hitting immensely harder than the Slarter is. She may be the best one to keep the cheese on. She was the one who did most of the melting on that Anti-Mage there. And especially with the changes to Focus Fire, she actually can be sticky now. I mean, she can switch targets and still come back to the primary target and not lose the bonus attack speed. So,
yeah, I thought this game was over, but apparently it's not. Rattlesnake's like, we have a lead, we can win. Nope, I'm just gonna make this game as close as possible, which makes it more exciting for me. Don't get me wrong, but like there's just these really bizarre moments in the game where I'm just like, what are you guys doing? And then that was a what are you guys doing? Same with the let's have the T4s when the T2 is still out. That's like a what are Rattlesnake had so many opportunities to close this game out. If they lose this game, they have to be like just like punching themselves.
Well, the problem they're going to run into, and we talked about this last time we saw it, is there comes a point where your carry gets 6-slotted and he just has a bunch of gold. And you don't want to buy a Rapier because you don't want to take the chance on dropping it. So what do? I mean, you can bank it for a little while, sure. But he's essentially, I mean, unless he wants to drop his Vlads, other than selling his Treads for Boots of Travel, he is 6-slotted right now.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't know what to expect anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, this seems simple. Just do this and do this, close the game out. Nope, they just no. Everything, all the rules have gone out the window. And it looks like we are going to be looking at a Roshan number 4 before this game is up. Slaughter needs another item, though. Okay, Halberd. I can get on board with Halberd. Halberd's a good choice here. Anti-Mage, he can get MKB right now, but he might not because he might not see the item build from Sara right now. And then after that, he's 6-slotted, so he can't actually get a MKB afterwards. So it's a good choice. His BKB is also 4-second duration. You want to be able to disarm him. And he desperately needs that evasion like so badly. He needs more HP though. He needs like I don't know, like Satanic plus Halberd plus I don't know.
Shiva's picked up on King J, and they're gonna smoke out.
That Midas kick it in.
You know it, baby. That attack speed.
Q has a sheep. Midas kick it in. Reaping the rewards. 52 minutes in.
Here we go. Gotta go hunting in a deserted part of town. No one there to find, and we're gonna see. Yep, Rattlesnake just like, it's fine. We kind of embarrassed ourselves. We shat the bed in bottom lane, so we're just gonna go calmly farm until Roshan's back up because we don't want to lose this game. There has to be a little bit of that sense right now for them. They have to feel like this game should be over, and they have to have that niggling worry. What if we don't win? Every Dota player knows that. Just
oh my, these late game decision making skills by these teams are just like on another level of like what in the world is going on here. Like Rattlesnake, you can look at their lineup and be like, okay, versus Rising Stars, try and minimize deaths, delay it until late game, and the late game should be easy. But it is not easy. Not when you just blink in and die. Not when you overcommit and tower dive. And he is at the T4 right now. Does he still have his Orchid? Yeah, he does. What is it good for, though?
Yep.
It did yield that one important kill, though. So
yep.
4,000 gold for one kill.
And actually, my sound just went out because I think I unplugged the cord. I'm going to go with the chair. If I can get a little help from Conrad on that. I did it. My cord came unplugged because I rolled over it with the chair. I can't hear anything. It's very hard to cast Dota Windows sound.
We haven't talked about Ogre much.
Still going to blame you, Con, even though I'm the idiot that did it. There we go.
Hello?
Now I can hear you again, Merlini. Sorry about that, brother.
Excellent. So, we haven't talked about Ogre much this game. How do you feel his impact has been?
I mean, we've seen some Bloodlust having some effect. I mean, the multicast on the Bloodlust on Luo when they were pushing down mid certainly helped. I mean, he's had a couple of clutch stuns. For the most part, though, he's felt very interchangeable. I mean, he's got a blink and a force staff, so he's been able to initiate some fights. And the nice thing about an Ogre, I feel, is he's kind of just a throwaway hero. Like, if you're like, okay, we need to initiate a fight, and we don't want to take a chance on losing the Timber if we're outnumbered, just go, Ogre. Just do your thing. If we lose you, it's okay.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be a really big pick if they do this. If they get a pick on Luo right now, he doesn't actually have buyback. Oh, they have a ward there, though. Do they have a gem? I hear a hook shot, and it missed.
Siler still looking for it and going to get the blink onto Sag. Here comes Luo. He's going to BKB out and stun Siler out. Can they get him? Sag's in trouble. Here goes Siler running away. Luo didn't take a lot of damage, but took enough that he was worried, and a shackle onto an illusion, not effective. We see Johnny throwing it out. There's another slithering crush to catch Sag, and Luo's going to go on him. Siler down. So trying to get the pick.
He has buyback.
And Luo trying to get the Visage Familiars. What did he get? He managed to get Blink. Blinking ahead, and they might end up getting the Visage. There's the buyback from Slarter. The Viscous Goose slowing down QQQ's retreat, and just talking about him, Ogre Magi, a little bit of mobility, nice little single target stun, has made things happen in little ways.
Visage, use your sheep.
Up, here we go. Slarter re-engaged on the Luo. Can they catch him out? He is. Scythe, he's down to half health, and he will end up dropping Johnny, landing a huge freezing field, but the cheese is eaten by Siler. Can they follow it up? Siler lands the crush. However, Icy with his BKB up, trying to chase him down. They manage to clean up King J, and Luo back off the buyback. Luo now going to pursue out CTY, doesn't have a win rate. He's gone.
Okay, there we go. That should be GG.
GG, one would imagine. Another crazy, drawn-out fight. Buybacks aplenty on both sides. And the Anti-Mage finally having picked up those boots of travel, and just to seal the deal with style, makes it a full 5-man wipe. GG's cold.
Rising Stars could have done, though. It was a long shot, but even though it went poorly for them, I think it was the absolutely best thing they could have done. Smoke before the next Roshan, because Rattlesnake has like the best chance of just taking down Roshan really fast. So, nice try by Rising Stars. I still don't think the Sora pick was right. It was just no.
Gimmicky.
With the hero picks that they did, and with like some of the things that went on in the game, I think they did pretty well given the situation. I mean, given Rattlesnake just kind of threw away their advantage when they could have closed out, but eventually Rattlesnake was able to close out. Very nice play by Luo for the most part, minus like 1 or 2 deaths right there, but like he just farmed up phenomenally in a 3-on-1 situation, and things would have gone a lot differently had they just not placed that sentry up top or gotten the tower. Just like very small things that could have completely changed the game. But all in all, very exciting game. I expected like, okay, let's play fast and then farm up and then just win with like one fight to end them all. But that was a very action-packed, exciting back and forth game.
I'll tell you, the MVP vote for me has got to go to Luo for no other reason. I mean, Sag in terms of pure individual performance. I mean, he was on an Ogre in this third game, so we didn't really get all that excitement that we got from him in game 1 and game 2 with the heroes he was on. But Luo's decision-making when he was both on the Medusa and the Anti-Mage, just always in the right place, very few mental lapses, never really overcommitting or undercommitting, just seemed to really have a gauge of what he needed to do and what his hero's capabilities were. And he gets my vote in that regard. But our second series is finally in the books. 3 of the longest games. This is by far the longest series of D2L Season 4 so far. A lot of action, a lot of fun, but it's not over yet. We got a third series on the way. 28-36, the final kill score, as Rattlesnake bests Rising Stars, and Rising Stars falls to 0-4 off of this, and Rattlesnake finally getting a win. It took him 56 minutes, 35 seconds in this final game. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, and I'll tell you what, Rising Stars has got to be hurt. That's got to be a tough loss to take. Again, now sitting at 0-4. They only have 3 more matches left to play in the rest of the Eastern Divisional play, and yeah, I mean, even if they win out, they're going to need a lot of help from other teams losing. They're just basically going to have the entire league beat up on themselves to make them feel like they have a realistic shot to make it into the top half of our final standings. But down, but not out. Nonetheless, Rattlesnake on the other side of that coin, they got a little bit of hope tonight. They can win out the remainder of their series, get 4 wins under their belt. Yeah, they're going to be in contention. They're going to have a chance to go to our bubble race playoffs in December to determine who will be qualifying out in our second place position. And yeah, just explaining the format, more or less, the number 1 finisher in our Eastern bracket will be moving on directly to Las Vegas. Our grand finals at CES and Caesars Palace coming up in January. Then, of course, the second qualifying spot from the East will be determined by a bubble race from the best of the rest teams throughout the rest of the bracket. So either way, nice win, well strung together by Rattlesnake, and really a lot of fun noticing Unorthodox Dota. Got to see a Medusa, got to see a Bristleback. Makes me personally happy. And as I said, we're not done yet. One more best of 3 running way behind. We'll probably have a short break, but we will be back quick, fast, and in a hurry. Don't go anywhere unless it's to grab a beer, and stay tuned. I'll be back here on the HyperX D2L Season 4.